Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, brothers and sisters. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This right here, brothers and sisters, is something that I want to present to the people in regards to male and female interactions or male and female dealings, if you will. First, speaking as a male, I want to state that not every male, not every brother who attempts to do, quote, something nice for a sister is looking to be carnal with that sister. Recently, and I will not name any names whatsoever, I was asked by several sisters questions along the lines of, why would you want to do that for me? Or, what do you see in me to do that? Or, what do you expect in return? First off, as stated, not every brother seeks to be carnal or do things for ulterior motives or wicked motives. Not every time a man says hi to a woman, not every time a man even sits there and says to a woman, do you want this? I'm going over there. Do you want me to pick you up something? Or if he asks her per se on a date, if you will. That does not mean that he's seeking to be carnal. That does not mean that he's seeking cohabitation sexually. You understand? This is something that we want to sit there and emphasize on, because in many cases, you have it to where a lot of sisters have a wall up. Some sisters have a castle around them, you may say, with bricks and mortar and all these other kind of aspects and so forth and so on. But the problem comes into play in two regards. You understand? One, there are men who do things for ulterior or wicked motives. And two, the brothers who are not living in that particular light have to now contend with the wall that sisters put up. You understand? And so, my argument, if you want to use that terminology, right? If I know myself as an Israelite and the sister knows herself as an Israelite, and we're comfortable perhaps praying together or talking about the scriptures together or so forth and so on, right? Why then would you sit there and think that that man has an ulterior or wicked motive? See, what brothers think who are not looking for that in return for doing something nice or treating a sister nice or so forth and so on, what brothers think is, does this particular sister have anything to offer than what's between her legs? You understand? Let me break it down a little clearer. If I take a gift for a woman, it does not mean that I'm seeking to be sexually active with her. Because truth, sad as it is, the way it is in these days at times, you don't even need to sit there and quote woo a woman or anything of that sort to even sit there and get in between her legs carnally. The way whoredom is being done all over the length and breadth of the earth. You understand? There are women who are online doing things for sexual favors. So it's not even, quote, hard for a man to even, quote, get some, whereas he don't even have to sit there and do much to, quote, get it. That doesn't mean, brothers and sisters, that it's a good thing or an upright thing or a righteous thing. However, what we want to point out, brothers and sisters, is that it is a very sad thing when sisters can't trust brothers or don't trust brothers. You understand? If you can trust a person that he, in certain cases, can know about your personal business and know that he's not going to talk about it, if you can sit there and see that a brother is of a certain kind of caliber, And if you know that your value is not in between your legs, the last thing you're going to think about is, oh, he must sit there and want that. You understand? If you know that as a sister, you can compliment a brother back. If you know as a sister that you can sit there and ask the man who wants to, quote, do something nice, what can you do in return? As opposed to saying, well, if you really want this sex thing, it's not going to sit there and happen. When you begin to see that, at that point, speaking as a brother, speaking as a man, there is no hope in that kind of friendship or anything of that sort. At that point, it's cut ties, because if you know that you are up for uprightness, and you know yourself saying that you Israel, and you know good and well if you're reading in the book that Israelites understand to be the truth, you know that in the time of Jonah they gave gifts. You know that in the time of the prophet Samuel, Saul didn't just come up to meet him, would just say, hi, I'm Saul. You understand? He came with something. So when a man, even as a friend to a woman, approaches her, he should, quote, come with something. I was taught from older men when I was a youth to always make sure as a man that you got some kind of money in your pocket. You understand? And so these are things that we want to sit there and talk about for edification purposes. Because that wall that a lot of sisters have up goes against the grain of what the Most High stated. What the Most High stated is, one, Israel's supposed to gather. But if you think, sadly, that the only thing as a sister or a woman that you have to offer a man is what is between your legs, you're going to sit there and fall back from congregations. You're going to fall back from being among nationhood or even sisterhood or even brother and sisterhood, because sadly, many of our sisters and even our brothers don't know their value. Many of us don't see the light that we have within ourselves. So I want to state that there's a difference between being humble and humbled. When someone can see a brightness in you, a light in you, understand that that is coming from the Most High to you, because everybody doesn't get that kind of message. You understand? So, like stated, this is not going to be long, but I just wanted to sit there and go over this particular aspect because it's a sad situation. You have males and females, even among knowledgeable Israelites, who cannot click as friends because of some kind of wall up, which is ridiculous. Because one thing to point out is this: a person's true ways and a person's true character is going to show. He or she cannot fake it for so long. You understand? So, what we hear as men, generally speaking, when y'all sisters or women in general, you understand, say, well, I got my wall up, it's for my survival, it's for my protection. What we as males generally think is that, not to be redundant, she doesn't know how to sit there and use her wisdom and still be able to sit there and say to her brother a compliment back or so forth to so on. You understand? It's a very sad state of affairs. So, hopefully, things can become better. Hopefully, the relationships, the friendships, and so forth and so on can become better. And brothers and sisters alike, stop thinking with your genitalia. Shalom.